All right. We know that one of the biggest stories out of this game was the Liam Coen, Robert Saleh back and forth, which was a little bit crazy about the whole stealing accusation by Saleh in the press conference leading up to this game. But John Lynch, general manager of the San Francisco 49ers, actually commented on this specific topic and pretty interesting insight. Take a listen to what he had to say on KMBR right here.
John, before we let you go, we can't not talk about what happened with Liam Coen and Robert Saleh. And I want to go all the way back to last Thursday. After we talked to you, Saleh did his press conference and threw out there, the Jags do a really good job of picking up signs. He used the phrase sign stealing. Then he said it was legal. We were like, oh, that's interesting. It's a little peek behind the curtain, right? And so let's start there. When you heard Saleh bring that up last Thursday, did you have a reaction back then?
I think, in talking with Robert, he truly meant it as a compliment. They're very adept at listening to the TV copy, hearing the language we speak on defense. And so I think Saleh was trying to, we know that and almost, just putting them on notice that we know, and, we might make some requisite changes. I think when he said sign stealing, that probably irritated them a little. I didn't think it would irritate them that much. I think, he's a first-year head coach. They're a team that's playing really well and playing with a lot of pride. They kind of seems like they used it as a little bit of a battle cry, and I don't think it affected the outcome of the game. Little dust up after the game, just words. I'm sure those guys will be fine. And I think we move forward. Things like that happen a lot. In today's world, things like that probably get caught a lot more often than they used to. And everyone's good. We move forward.
That was going to be my follow-up is, in any number of, I don't have your number of NFL games in front of me. It's a lot. How many times would you see post-game beef?
Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot, And it's like I said, in the day and age of cameras and cell phones and all that, I think things you probably have to know that, understand that. That's a hard deal because emotions are running hot. Typically, it's very cordial out there. It's hard fought game. There's a lot of respect, and I know that Robert respects Liam. I know in turn that Liam respects Robert. I'm sure they'll be fine. They'll laugh about it at some point, but. They're little colorful, exchange there.
John, my question is, how often were you as a player trying to decode or steal signs? Because I remember seeing Peyton Manning at the line of scrimmage calling out audibles and controlling the offense. Like, you would think that everybody on the defense is trying to decode what the quarterback is saying.
You know what, though? You're always trying to decode, and you're looking at, I'm watching film right now in my office. I'm not watching it as we speak, but it's frozen, and I'm looking at the right guard on Carolina. I don't know why they're up there, but, he's in a pass set, so that's pre-snap. So, it's likely. So it can be as little as that. But I know that in my career, I'll never forget, I was playing for Mike Shanahan, and we're playing in the playoffs against the Indianapolis Colts and Peyton Manning, and that typically hadn't gone in the recent history when I arrived there with Champ Bailey. In large part, we were brought in to get over the hurdle of the Colts. The Colts were killing the Broncos in the playoffs, and so it was a big deal for Mike, for us, and we're in the playoffs again. And Mike Shanahan had talked to Jeff Fisher, who's a division rival of the Indianapolis Colts, and all the language that Peyton uses, but Jeff Fisher said, hey, the one thing, you remember the old stretch, the outside zone where Peyton would stick the ball out. No one knew whether it was a run to Edgerrin James or is he going to pull it, throw a post to Reggie Wayne or Marvin Harrison. Well, Mike Shanahan says, hey, John, I got it on good authority from Jeff Fisher, who plays these guys twice a year. Anytime Peyton says apple, any form of apple, it's going to be a run. And so here we are in the first play of the game, apple, and I'm listening to my head coach, Mike Shanahan, who heard it from Jeff Fisher. Who knows? It's 100% absolute. Well, I learned a good lesson that day because he said apple, and he was throwing a post, and I was about 2 yards from the line of scrimmage, and thank God it was a long foul ball. And I looked at Mike Shanahan, And the first time he probably ever saw my 47 red, I said, Mike, don't ever tell me something like that again. We got away with it this time, and it was a great lesson in year 13 for me that you don't do that. You trust your keys. So you can. Yes, there is some of that gamesmanship, but typically you put yourself in a disadvantage when you're trying to find too much of that stuff. You just got to play ball.
Jeff Fisher was a double agent. He was working against you.
He was.
All right, we ended with
Peyton Manning was pretty astute, so he probably knew that.
He knew you. He knew that you knew that you knew that he knew that all that stuff. And then
Just
finally,
play
we got to end it with the Rams, man. I mean, does this get the juices? Okay, I mean, there's two parts to the Ram rivalry. Kyle had long run of dominance over Sean McVay. Then there was the NFC Championship, which is unfortunate. We could parse that out. And then the last year, they got you guys twice on really close games. And it's this incredible familiarity. Just this incredible familiarity. And there's a lot at stake in this game. So for you, if you know them so well and they know you so well, sort of dovetailing off what you just said about Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Is somebody going to put a wrinkle in this week, or is it just going to be a street fight and who's the last man standing?
Especially on a short week. I don't think this week is a whole lot, about wrinkles and trickery. I think this is execution. Who's going to block? Who's going to protect the football? Who's going to take away the football? Who's going to hit the quarterback? Who's going to bring down the quarterback? Who's going to make the plays in the big moments? I think that's what this will come down to. There'll be, fabulous players on both sides. I'm sure we'll see plenty of Niner fans down there that are home away from home, and we gotta make it loud, and we gotta make that. There's nothing like seeing them go silent count in their own stadium, and we got to make that the case. But we got to go play winning football and find a way to beat a really good Rams football team. These guys are a good football team.
Yeah, with lots of questions about health, Pearsall, Purdy, you name it. So lots to unfold on Thursday, John. We always appreciate your time.
If I had to give you my honest opinion, I don't mind some of this these little chippy things, as long as you win, right? Because as we've seen, didn't work out to the 49ers' benefit. Now you have this whole after situation where, this would be a little bit more of a different context if the 49ers won. But because they didn't win, it's not a good look. So that's the only pitfall. Again, it's very similar to when we have, Diamador Lenore, chirping and stuff like that. One of the reasons why we're okay with it, because he typically backs it up. So that's the only issue that I particularly have with this, is if you're going to go out and you're going to, call someone out or say something, you just got to back it up. That's it. That's the only rule. So, the whole sign stealing thing, it is what it is. I do think it is pretty normal to get any type of advantage that you want. In these games, the margins are paper thin, so you got to do what you got to do. But I don't know. If hindsight being what it is, probably shouldn't have said nothing about it. They like John Lynch talked about, they clearly used it for internal motivation. So we'll see. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.